Hey guys, welcome back to another Titus Diorama and Toy Reviews. In this video, we are going to be reviewing the Marvel Legends Marvel Omega Red from the Build-A-Figure Sauron wave. As you can see, Omega Red comes in that standard window box Marvel Legends packaging that we all know and love. This allows you to see the figure plus all the accessories and Build-A-Figure piece within. The side of the box has some really nice artwork of the actual character, and of course the back of the box has a nice product shot with a small bio, and it also shows all the rest of the figures in this wave. With that stated, guys, let's go ahead and get Omega Red out of the packaging so we can discuss the figure and the accessories he comes with. Alright guys, so here is Omega Red out of the packaging. And overall, I feel that Hasbro has done an amazing job capturing Omega Red's likeness from the comics. Now before we talk more about how I feel about this figure, let's quickly talk about the accessories and the Build-A-Figure piece that he comes with. So first of all, let's go ahead and get the Build-A-Figure piece out of the way. He comes with the left leg, as I mentioned before, and it looks reasonably nice. It's very detailed. Can't complain too much about it. Let's move on to the actual accessories that he comes with, and that is the short and long cybernetic tentacles. Now, I like these. They're shaped or sculpted in a really nice way. They just simply peg into his arms. They just pull out and you peg them in. They look cool. My only drawback to them is that they don't have bendy wires. And I think if they were bendy wires, it would allow you to pose him in a lot of different poses with them wrapped around figures and whatnot. I mean, it is what it is. We know that Hasbro doesn't always give us everything that we want, but for what they are, I do like them. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the figure himself. Now overall, I really like this new body mold that they have used for this particular figure. It looks really great. It looks to be in proportion. Nothing looks out of proportion from what I can see. My only kind of nitpick for this figure is the fact that the red plastic they used on the legs does not match the red plastic for the rest. You can also see that in the butterfly joint. It's a different red color. Other than that, it looks perfect. My particular figure only has a couple spots where the paint, and there isn't a lot of paint on this figure to begin with, but there's only a couple spots where the paint isn't quite on par. For instance, right here, there's a little daub of red you can see, and the red bleeds up on the gray on the shoulder pads. The shoulder pads, the arm pads, the knee pads all look nice. None of them are bent out of the way. It's just a really great figure. I love the head sculpt. I love the hair. The paint on the head sculpt is amazing. The eyes are in line. The paint on the cheeks there is fine. There's no splotches. There's no missed parts on that, which is really great. That's what I like to see in my figures. The only thing I could suggest from paint is maybe some shadowing on there to kind of make it pop a little bit more. But other than that, I really, really do like this figure. So let's go ahead and look at the articulation with this figure. All right, guys, let's start off with the head and work our way down. Now, with this particular figure, like most figures that have long hair, his head articulation is a little bit hindered. He can't really look too much farther back or up than this. He can look a fair bit down. He can turn his head left and right a fair bit. only getting stuck on the hair back there. And he does have some wobble there, so you can wobble his head back and forth. He does have the butterfly joints at the armpits or the shoulders, which do allow you to move his arms quite far back and quite far forward, which is a good range of motion. His shoulders can go up to 90 degrees, and if the shoulder pads were not there, he could do a full 360. He does have the swivel at the bicep there. He does have double jointed elbows. However, because of the size of his arms, they act more like a single joint. But that's still okay for me. He does have rotation at the wrists, and they do swivel. However, mine are very, very tight. So I'll have to work those a little bit more before I can get them to move the way that I want to. He does have an ab crunch, which does work really well, and I do like the fact that the harness does move as well. He does have the hip swivel, so you can turn him sideways, and the belt doesn't interfere with that. That's really great. And the belt does a good job of hiding the actual seams for his articulation, which is really great. His legs can do the splits this far. He can kick forward this far. He can't really kick too far back. He does have double jointed knees, which do work really well. And the knee pads, if you angle the leg, does tend to hide that joint there a bit. He does have the swivel at the top of the leg. He does not have any swivel in the calf, but he can point his foot straight down. He can point it up quite far. And he does have the rocker joint that gives him ankle pivot. Alright guys, let's go ahead and compare him with a few other figures that I have in my collection, and then I'll give you my overall thought on the figure. Alright guys, so here is Omega Red beside Wolverine, and the only other figure I have from this particular wave, Bishop. Alright guys, and here is Omega Red beside Magneto and Sabretooth. And just as a small side note guys, I would have really loved to have seen this Sabretooth figure on that body mold. I think the Omega Red body mold is much superior, and when I think of Sabretooth, I think of big and bulky. When you look at Omega Red, he is big and bulky. Sabretooth, although big, he's not as bulky and definitely doesn't have the same muscle tone as Omega Red here. So I'd love to see Hasbro do another Sabretooth, but with this body mold. That would be great. So overall guys, I think that Omega Red is a very well done figure, and I'm really glad to have him as part of my collection. When I think of Wolverine and his enemies, Sabretooth, Omega Red, and Magneto are my top three that I think pair up well with him. And I'm really glad to have all three of those figures in my collection now. If you are a Marvel collector and you don't have this figure yet, I highly suggest that you go and find it. With that stated guys, I want to say thank you so much for checking out today's video. And I hope that you really enjoyed it. I really enjoy putting these videos together for you. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on any of the latest of my builds for dioramas and my toy reviews. And as always guys, stay nerdy.